Hey everybody, and welcome back to the channel. It's your girl Lori, and this is the fifth and final episode of this series on boundaries. And this one is holding your boundaries for yourself. We already know in last episode we were talking about holding boundaries for other people. No. This is holding boundaries for self. So this is going to be very introspective, and there is going to be a call to action at the end. So let me tell you what that looks like. So you tell yourself, I'm going to work out Monday, Wednesday, Friday. This is like, I'll be going on my third week of that because I was trying to do like, oh, I'll do Monday through Friday. And it started to become, I could feel myself being overwhelmed with it. And it just wasn't working. So I said, I'll do Monday, Wednesday, Friday. And then if I do something extra, cool. And if I don't, that's fine too. But if I now get up tomorrow and just because I'm just feeling a little low, not like sick, but I'm just feeling low. And I go, oh, I don't feel like, mind you, this does happen, but like, I don't feel like getting up and doing anything. No one cares. Okay. Are you willing to hold the boundary, right? Because holding a boundary with yourself is showing up for yourself. Your boundaries are you showing up for yourself. So if you plan out Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, I'll tell you what really helps me, and I'll do this in another series, but like how I set my day and how you can be more like effective. But like is I set out all of my workout stuff the night before, even though my drawer is literally from me to like you from where I need to be. And then my things I work on is like right here. I mean, not here, but upstairs, right? I still get it ready. So I can't give myself the excuses. But if you tell yourself, I'm going to work out Monday through Friday or Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and you don't do it, then you're not holding yourself. You're not holding your own boundaries. If you say, I'm going to go, I'd rather walk naked down the street backwards, but I'm going to go to this thing for 25 minutes or 2.5 hours or however long you're going. That time comes, you go. Okay, that's the whole thing is you have to be willing to hold it even if you might want to stay a little longer. Maybe you need to tell yourself, hey, this is my boundary. If your boundary is I'm done at 11 o'clock doing laundry, don't keep doing it till 11:12 or 11:15. Why? You said 11 o'clock. As long as it's not just sitting in the wash, if it's in the dryer, let it stay there till the next time or whenever you're going to put it on your schedule again. But you got to hold those times. You got to hold that. If you say, I don't loan money, then don't loan money. Don't be like, well, I mean, God, it's my best friend. Like okay, I'm going to do it. Okay, so you just didn't hold your own boundary. So then it's not an important boundary to you, right? So if you say, this year, I'm definitely not going to show up for Christmas. Last year was too toxic. I didn't like it. I'm not showing up to Christmas. Great. And you've just established this. You've kind of told everybody I'm not showing up. They've caught a little attitude. Now we're the first week of December, right? Because it's like months out. And now you're in a whole different headspace. That's why you don't make that commitment when you're angry. Do you see what I'm saying? That's not a boundary. That's a reaction. Because now you might be like, okay, we're fine. I want to come to Christmas. Well, now you basically told them back in August, under no circumstances am I showing up. Now you just did. So anything else you say is going to be irrelevant. That's why you do not establish your boundaries out of a feeling state. This isn't about a feeling of disrespect and a feeling of, this is just about you. Don't make this difficult. You make it a lot more difficult than it needs to be. So if your boundary is I don't loan money, then don't loan money, ever. Yeah, I understand that that's rigid, but that might be the thing because some people go, well, I mean, listen, some boundaries have to be flexible. Yes, but here's the caveat to that. So if you go ahead and you do loan money, do so with the understanding that you're probably not going to get that money back. Because what you don't get to do is now loan the money and then go, man, I knew I shouldn't have loaned the money. Nope, you didn't hold your boundaries. So that's why if you go back to, and now that these 5 are up, you should go back and kind of listen to them again, like in a binge, because then it'll make a little bit, not make more sense, but you'll be able to like once again get it. I always say, as with any books, like I have books that I have listened to over 100 times because sometimes you get something new or a reminder of something. So it's the same as the videos here or my podcast or anything, right? Or anybody's. So is to understand that in order to hold it, you must hold yourself accountable. Because you get really busy focusing on all these other people who aren't respecting your boundaries, right? They're not respecting your boundaries. But we already know that that's not true. You're just not allowing that to happen. And then why would they? If they see that you say you're going to show up and your time boundary is when I say I'm leaving, and every time you show up to a barbecue, you say you're leaving at 2 and here we are at 6 o'clock, nobody's going to believe a damn thing you say. And then you're going to get your feelings hurt because you're going to go, well, nobody respects me. Well, of course not. You're not consistent with yourself. So you get once again, I'm never going to blame other people for you. It's always going to be your accountability. It isn't everybody else. It's you. It's you. When it comes to you, it's you. It's not everybody else. So you want to get very clear in establishing what that looks like for you. So that's why going back to the first video and really sitting with self and saying, okay, these are my boundaries, but on Thanksgiving, I might stay a little bit later. I mean, that's fine. That's fine. So, but just don't make this big grandstand thing of like, I'm leaving at 4 every time you go somewhere, and then you just don't. Maybe you don't say anything. Maybe that's a boundary. Maybe you just kind of do it as it will. I will tell you a good boundary for me is, for the most part, I like to drive wherever I go. So if you and I are going to dinner, I'm going to ride with you, or you're going to ride. Usually I would ask you to ride with me. I prefer to drive. If you and I are going to go to a club or something that's like a fair or something, and either you can ride with me, right? This isn't about control. This is about my space. You can either ride with me or we can meet there. Seriously, meet me there, because you may want to stay longer. I may not. I know me. When my social battery runs out, and there's sometimes not a warning, I could be like, oh my God, it's great. And the next thing you know, I'm like, I am done. Okay. And I don't want to be the buzzkill for you. I don't want to be the person, now you're out living your best life. I've ridden with you. Now I'm just sitting there like, oh God. Now you can feel that pressure. You're almost like, oh my God, you're a lot. Like, why are you so much right now? I don't want to do that to you. It's the opposite of control. It's the understanding that I want to be able to exit a situation that makes, that maybe I'm done with, without having it affect you. So this is me protecting my peace and protecting my boundaries while respecting your boundaries. I don't ever want to be the person who's sitting there and literally waiting down the entire room. And if you're that person, you feel like, hey, I don't know, then drive somewhere. Again, if you're going to the movies, you kind of know what the plan is for the most part. Great, I'll ride together. It doesn't really matter. But if you kind of know where your limits are, then maybe that's a good space thing for you. That falls more under space, right? So maybe that's what you need to do, is turn on your music. I know you're going to have FOMO by not riding with everybody else, but which one's more important? Ride with everybody else and then be okay? Are you willing to go with the flow? Well, what if your anxiety kicks in? Or what if your social ineptness at that time kicks in? Well, now you're going to be kind of a buzzkill for everyone. So now that's not control. That's now you're controlling the narrative. Now everybody's kind of like, oh my God. And then nobody's going to want to invite you places because nobody wants a buzzkill with them. So that's my boundary, not just for my own peace, but to also respect you as a person who I care about, right? Because I want you to still stay and have a great time. You don't have to leave when I leave. So that's what I'm saying about protecting your peace and sticking to it. Even if somebody's like, oh, come on, it's fine. You can leave whenever you want. No, I'm good. When Deborah and Matt go out on the boat, they don't invite me because they're boaters. So they go out all day long. I'm not an all day boat girl. So once or twice a year, sometimes once a year, usually in the fall, they'll say, hey, do you want to go out for an evening cruise? They know my idea of an evening cruise, 2 to 3 hours. I like it in a certain time. And then I come home, because for me, I need that space. It's not listen, I'm going to go with the flow. Sometimes I get out there and I'm like, okay, whatever. Let's just stay out here till 4 o'clock in the morning. I don't care. But they know that going into it. They're not angry. They don't get their feelings hurt. I don't get my feelings hurt. Nobody's, you know what I mean? So you have to understand that. And when you do and you hold that, people are going to start respecting it. You can't expect someone to stand up and say, I'm going to respect your boundaries, when just 5 minutes ago they saw you blow your own boundary. That's being called a hypocrite. You're saying you want people to respect your boundaries, but then you're not holding them. So call to action on this one is, well, you may not have boundaries yet, but let's say you think that you've had boundaries, right? Because if you're here, you probably need to brush up on your boundaries, right? And maybe make it a little bit more solid. But where do you struggle with holding your own boundaries, not others? Where do you struggle? Call to action here. Where do you struggle with holding your own boundaries? Get very honest with yourself. It's not a beat up session. It's not a what's wrong with me. It's not a I need to do these things. I'm just asking you to be aware of it, right? Because this is it's all in your control. It really is. You guys love control in many ways. This is the time to flex it. All right. But because you're flexing it, because you're also controlling the fact that you need to understand that when somebody does something that you don't like, it's not your problem, right? That's protecting their boundaries, right? That's respecting them. So it's really good for you to get clear in yourself and say, well, God, maybe I'm giving myself too much to do, or maybe I'm just too wishy-washy. Yeah, you are too wishy-washy with yourself. So to establish and hold it with yourself, that is the first and foremost person you want to hold it to. So that's why you want to get very clear with, Are you going to be a lone money person? Are you going to be like, what's your time? What's your sexual boundaries? What's your emotional time? You know, what's the capacity in which you carry? But you got to be honest with yourself. Everyone else has to go bye-bye for a minute. Don't worry about the reactions. That's not your problem. Not your circus, not your monkeys. Okay? So that's a really good call to action for you. And a good place to end this is just kind of like a recap is, what boundaries do you even have or want that have to be for you, not individual, right? Are you respecting other people's boundaries? Check yourself at the door. Be honest, okay? And then how are you holding your own boundaries? When you do that, you can start to cultivate it and be a little bit more aware and kind to yourself and kind and compassionate to other people. And again, remember, if you don't like it, you don't have to rock with it. So that's the wrap on the boundary series. See you next week.